Hello everyone. In today's lecture video, we'll do the revision for the module 5 optical networks. What you have studied in the optical networks. So you know networks, how it interconnects the nodes, what are the different types of communication, how it is done using the different protocols, different layers in the protocols, but how it will be the networks is achieved or networking or interconnection of the networks through the optical signal is called as optical networks. How networking is done under the optical domain. So let us discuss few important questions asked in the old question paper. STSN is STSN frame structure can be made by using the STS1. So here if you want to make any, because STSN3 means you need to multiply the first 3 bytes or the total 90 bytes is multiplied with that number n, and 9 rows remains as it is. First 3 into n, that will be used for the sectional line over it. Remaining will be, it is a payload envelope capacity. So this is the structure of STS-N frame structure. You can make any frame structure, but the basic structure is STS1. That is very important. You need to draw the diagram of STS1 now. Okay, so in case of STS, frame is 810 octets in size, while for the STH it is similar to STS3. Okay, so it is transmitted as 3 octets of the overhead followed by 87 octets of payload. This is repeated 9 times until 810 octets have been transmitted, taking 120 microsecond. So STS sonnet as well as SDH both are same, but the basic structure in SDH is STS3. So STS1, the basic structure of sonnet, that is very important. You need to study for exam. Then the second question asked in the old question paper is about the wavelength convertible routing network architecture. Explain with a neat diagram wavelength convertible routing network architecture. An all optical wavelength converter is a device that transfers information from one wavelength to another without entering the electrical domain. So, this is very important while implementing the WDM concept in the optical network, because to increase the bandwidth capacity, and to make the complete utilization of the bandwidth and increase the transmission capacity, WDM, DWDM is very important. So that will be like a wavelength will be multiplexed and transmitted through the single optical fiber. So here, how, because sometimes what will happen for a particular routing during the establishing the connection between the nodes, sometimes what happens like sometimes the particular wavelength is not available to make the connection. That time something convertible, wavelength convertible node or device is required that will convert the particular information in the particular wavelength to the wavelength available during that time. So wavelength convertible, that will uh, remove the something wavelength block or something noise or something disturbance in the communication channel. So STS any let us discuss what is the WDM network architecture for the wavelength conversion. So here you can see here the first one, demultiplexer. It will demultiplex all the signals at the receiver end, demultiplex the signals with a different wavelength, and through the optical switch, those will be getting at the output of the optical switch. But sometimes what will happen, that particular lambda 2, lambda 1, that particular wavelength is not available for the further transmitting the data in the communication link. Then there should be a wavelength converter or something, conversion of the wavelength should takes place, and it will convert from the lambda 1 to lambda 2. So wavelength converter which converts so that it will avoid some blocking of the data, blocking of the transmission of the data, so that it will relocate the information in the available wavelength. So lambda 1 will be converted into lambda 2. But in this particular first diagram, wavelength convertible routing network architecture, full or rededicated wavelength converter. So each and every channel has wavelength converter. So lambda 1 would convert it to lambda 2, lambda, whatever the wavelength at the input will be converted to the other wavelength. Later it will be multiplexed, and multiplexed signal will be transmitted. So this is one of the convertible network. But sometimes what happens, each and every channel is not required to convert the wavelength into the other wavelength, because it is not required sometimes. So at that time, just to make the cost effective network, and to make the to reduce the complexity, sometimes STS-N frame structure can be made by using the STS-1. So here, if you want to make any, because STS-N3 means you need to multiply the first 3 bytes, or the total 90 bytes is multiplied with that number n, and 9 rows remains as it is. First 3 into n, that will be used for the sectional line overhead. Remaining will be, it is a payload envelope capacity. So this is the structure of STS-N frame structure. You can make any frame structure, but the basic structure is STS-1. That is very important. You need to draw the diagram of STS-1 now. Okay, so and sometimes per node, shade per node is required. Shade per node means it should be given to the particular node after the conversion. Then the wavelength convertible bank, again for the required link only which is connected, but that will be given to the particular node through one more optical switch. So there are 2 switches, optical switch 1, optical switch 2. So lambda 2 will be converted into lambda 3. Later through optical switch 2, that will be connected to the MUX. So this is about the wavelength convertible routing network architecture on basis of the shade per node. So generally what is wavelength convertible network architecture means, it avoids the blocking of the information signal, and it avoids the wavelength continuity constraint, so that whichever the available channel will be relocated for the relocated through the wavelength convertible device. So lambda 2 will convert it into lambda 3, anything. So input to signal wavelength will be converted into other wavelength through the wavelength convertible device. And another question asked in this module, write short note on optical fiber access networks and local area networks. So what do you mean by access networks? So access network is an element of a public telecommunication network that connects access nodes to either individual users or metropolitan area networks. So therefore it can be considered as the last link in the network between the consumer's premises and the first point of the connection to the network infrastructure. There is a local exchange, switching center, or local office. So it is a last link, so that network between the customer premises and the first point of connection to the network infrastructure, local exchange or switching center. The transmission media choices providing strategies for the development of an access network. So it is like access network. It is a type of telecommunication network which connects subscribers to their immediate service provider. So it is contrasted with the core network which connects local providers to one another. So access network is a type of telecommunication network which connects subscribers to their immediate service provider. What is optical access network? So optical access network, you have like feeder and distributor sections. So feeder from the local exchange, it is the service provider, how which is connected to the different distributors, different receiver end, and different deployment sections, how local exchange or office connected to the different premises through the cabinet. Optical network unit, through optical network unit, how it has connected. So that is the access network, how access network connects the subscriber to the immediate service provider, local exchange or service providers. And sometimes per node, shared per node is required. Shared per node means it should be given to the particular node after the conversion. Then the wavelength convertible bank, again for the required link only which is connected, but that will be given. Now what is local area network? So local area network is similar to wide area network, but a local area, it is usually confined to either a single building or a group of buildings contained entirely within a establishment. So here OSI model is similar to the LAN, but LAN model there is slight difference in the data link layer between the data link and physical layer. So here you can see in the diagram, physical layer it will be as it is, but the data link layer is classified into, which is divided into two layers: logical link control layer and medium access control layer. So logical link control layer, which assembles or disassembles data frames or packets and provides the appropriate redress and error checking fields. A medium access control layer which organizes communications over the link. In LAN, each node on the network can be directly connected to all other. This is the main difference between LAN and WAN. Wide area network and local area network, each node on the network can be directly connected to all others. So the optical fiber TAN topologies are the bus, ring and star. So the design of the MAC layer is crucial in LANs. Three specific types of access protocol: random access protocol, token passing protocol, time division multiple access protocol. So optical fiber regenerative repeater can be used to restore the attenuated signal power in a optical fiber LAN. And optical fiber local area networking was centered on the fiber distributed data interface. This is about the area networks. And describe about internet protocol and in evolution over physical layer evolution and traffic flow pattern with relevant diagram. So what is internet protocol? Internet protocol, how it is connected or how is the evolution over the physical layer evolution. Here internet protocol is a network layer protocol in the OSI model. So OSI model, there are 7 layers. Under that, the IP, it is a layer 3 protocol in OSI model, or it is a network layer that contains both addressing and control information to enable packets to be routed within a network. The internet can be characterized as a logical architecture which can permit multiple different networks to be interconnected, enabling each network node to communicate without the need to know which network it is using or how to route information between them. So IP provides the means of communication between a link and transport layers. The virtual connection is established between nodes requiring communication when IP is combined with a specific higher level protocol such as the Transmission Control Protocol or the User Datagram Protocol UDP. So for this role, TCP IP is preferred since UDP IP does not guarantee or which does not give any feedback whether the packets has arrived or whether packet has received or whether it has sent. So TCP IP which gives the feedback. So it is like IP provides protocol for both the functions of signaling and routing required to carry the entire signal operation necessary to transmit and receive from optical nodes. So, Internet protocol, how it has implemented or IP Internet protocol over different layers, how it has changed from one generation to another generation. Initially, the first generation used ATM to carry IP packets. So IP over ATM, which has proved not to be an efficient technique as compared with the direct use of SDH or SONET. Because why ATM IP over ATM is not efficient? Because there is because of the overhead requirements of the ATM cell structure together with the overlap of IP packets. So it requires something overhead bits for the IP over ATM that can be avoided by using the SDH or SONET IP over the SDH and SONET. So in order to carry IP packets, however, mapping of the IP packets directly to the SDH SONET frames is required and the resultant technique is referred as a packet over SONET. This mapping of IP frames can be accomplished in 3 stages. In the first stage, data is segmented into IP packets which are then encapsulated via the point-to-point protocol. The framing information then added in the second stage and then finally in the third stage, resultant data is mapped synchronously onto the SDH SONET frame. So there are 3 stages are there. So based on data is segmented into IP packets, then which will be framing information is then added in the second stage. Later, third stage resultant data is mapped synchronously. But what will happen? Sometimes, SDH and SONET, the bandwidth efficiency is not good because SONET SDH uses synchronous time division multiplexing, where each time slot must be occupied. It should be occupied, otherwise there is a waste of capacity. So, to overcome this, something to increase the transmission capacity to overcome this waste of time slot, there is a improved if the statistical multiplexing techniques are used. So the third generation where WDM and DWDM techniques are used to carry the IP packets, where WDM wavelength division multiplexing, DWDM dense wavelength division multiplexing. The removal of the ATM and SONET layers to produce IP over DWDM is possible due to the increasing sophistication of the optical and photonic enabling techniques. So IP optical networks using the realization of the IP running directly on the DWDM physical layer has become an important goal in optical networking. So the IP running directly on the DWDM physical layer. So implementation of the scheme for IP over DWDM and further development of the IP over OTM are used in the implemented in this diagram how Internet protocol over physical layer evolution and traffic flow patterns. So third layer how IP packets are transmitted over the WDM and DWDM and what is the evolution IP over physical layer evolution. How DWIP running directly on the DWDM physical layer, and it is very important in the optical network to increase the transmission capacity, to utilize the efficient bandwidth. So here in the first diagram, IP over WDM, where IP over WDM in the first diagram, in this case routers are directly interconnected with the high capacity point to point WDM links. Hence, the entire traffic is processed in the router at the packet level after converting the optical signal to the electronic domain and extracting the packets from the signal stream. Therefore, most of the traffic processed by the router is transit traffic that can be seen in the second diagram B. Diagram B. So, here all entire traffic is processed, and the traffic processed by the router is transit traffic. And IP over WDM architecture utilizes the high capacity of the router, requiring high throughput and power consuming router. Even though handling the transit traffic in a router at the packet level allows improved filling of the optical links due to the statistical multiplexing. It increases the average delay and packet loss. It does not provide for an efficient network. So, to, to utilization of the network efficiently, Internet Protocol over OTN, optical transmitter node, where the traffic which passes to the node without termination can be either switched in an optical cross connector. To utilize the bandwidth and to utilize the proper network, efficient network, to avoid the delay and packet loss, it will be IP over the OTN. IP over the optical transmitting node is implemented where traffic passes through the node without termination, can be either switched in an optical cross connect OXC without optoelectrical conversion, or be forwarded by router at the packet level after electronic to optical conversion. So here, by using IP over OTN optical termination node, here there is not there is no requirement of the conversion from the optical to electrical or electrical to optical. So it will be done in the optical domain itself. So OXC optical cross connect, which switch the node, or it can be used to switch in an optical cross connector without termination in the optical, without any optoelectrical conversion. So it can be seen in the figure C. And both IP over WDM and IP over OTN can be considered as non-reconfigurable since they rely heavily on the existing SDH SONET or ATM based network hierarchies. Internet Protocol over OTN, however, bypass that non-transit traffic by separately placing an IP router onto an OXC. So directly it can be passed through the OXC, so that it can be considered as a bypass of non-transit traffic. One is through router, it is called as a transit traffic. Another directly without passes through the router, it is called as a non-transit traffic. It is also called as optical bypass. Directly it passes through the optical cross connector. So here wavelength switching of OTN layer, how it is done, optical packet or burst switch. Okay, so and the last one, how transit traffic can be therefore switched in the optical layer instead of being forwarded only in the routers as depicted in the optical bypass indicated. Optical bypass, it can be seen in the diagram D, and also it can be passes through the optical burst switch or packet switch. So an advanced version of the IP over optical switches where the packets are switched in the all optical domain without optical to electrical conversion using either optical packet switches or optical burst switches, OBS. So this is the Internet Protocol over physical layer evolution and traffic flow patterns. So first to diagram, directly through the router, the WDM links how there is a transmission of the data takes place. So WDM to the optical to electrical conversion, and that will be transit. IP will be flow through the router, and to increase the capacity, to decrease the delay and packet loss, the optical OTN, IP over OTN can be implemented. It has implemented OTN. So OTN, there is an optical cross connect switch is used to connect the DWDM to DWDM, so that there is a transit IP, instead of passes through the router, it directly passes through the optical cross connector. It's a non-transit IP packets. And also to increase the DWDM capacity, without any conversion from the optical signal to electrical signal, optical packet or bursts which are used, so that DWDM to DWDM connections are made. So this is about the Internet Protocol over physical layer evolution. You need to draw this diagram for this particular question. And the last question, explain the term optical Ethernet and its application in the development of an Ethernet PON, passive optical network. Sketch and outline network configuration for up and downstream broadcasting. So optical Ethernet is a physical layer of the local area network. So optical Ethernet is the physical layer of the local area network communication protocol for sending data over fiber optic cable. So Ethernet is the physical layer of the local area network communication protocol. It is used for connecting internet servers and switches inside equipment racks, within data centers and between metropolitan data centers. So how can be implemented as a Ethernet PON? So it is quite straightforward to carry IP packets via Ethernet frames, and hence data transmission which may occur in variable length packets. So PON means passive optical network. How it has connected between the different nodes. So Ethernet PON means it is a passive optical network. Each packet contains information on the destination, and therefore all the packets arrive in the sequential order, enabling a complete message to be constructed. So Ethernet PON, it is like the instead of sending the IP data packets or Ethernet data packets, it will be transmitted through the Ethernet PON technology packets, IP packets via Ethernet frames as data transmission which may occur in variable length packets. So each packet contains information on the destination, therefore all the packets are in a sequential order, enabling a complete message to be constructed. You can see in the diagram how it has connected Ethernet PON to upstream broadcast and downstream broadcast. So first one depicts the downstream transmission for Ethernet passive optical network, where the data is broadcast from the OLT to multiple ONUs in a variable length packets to the three ONUs, optical node unit. Okay, optical ONU, it is a optical node unit. Optical node unit. Here, optical network unit. Sorry, optical network unit. Here, where the variable length packets to the three ONUs. At the splitter, the traffic is coupled to three separate fibers, each carrying all the same traffic. When the data reaches the ONU, it accepts the packets that are intended for it and discards the remaining packets. For example, ONU 1 receives two packets identified as packet 1 and packet 2 and 3, and the packets 2 and 3 are discarded. Similarly, ONU 2 and 3 receive their intended packets 2 and 3 respectively. In the upstream, traffic in EPON is managed by employing a TDM approach illustrated in figure B. The specific transmission time slots are dedicated to each ONU in order not to interface with each other once the data is coupled onto the common fiber. For example, ONU 3 transmits packet 3 in the first time slot, ONU 1 transmits packet 1 in a second non-overlapping time slot, finally ONU 2 transmits packet 2 in a third non-overlapping time slot. The three packets, each with variable packet length, are TDM interleaved by the multiplexer unit, and the resultant multiplex signal is transmitted to the OLT. So Ethernet PON can be implemented using either 2 or 3 wavelength signal, one each for downstream, upstream transmission, where the third wavelength region provides for the RF or for dense WDM transmission. So this is the diagram you need to explain for the Ethernet passive optical network, how it has done for the downstream broadcasting and upstream broadcasting through the multiplexer. Thank you.